It was Skellig's curse. That's what the locals said. Skellig Lighthouse, Rocky Island. In Old Scottish, Skellig meant rock. But there were other legends too. Spirits live there, home of the sea god. The light is enchanted. Nonsense, of course. But after 1953, everyone started to believe. 3 lighthouse keepers disappeared. William, James, Thomas, in one night, in a storm. On the radio they said, "Light won't turn off." Then they vanished. Coast Guard searched, couldn't find them. Police searched, couldn't find them. They fell into the sea, they said. The storm took them. But no bodies were ever found. None. The families refused to accept it. They're there, somewhere, waiting. William's wife Margaret visited the lighthouse every year. She'd take a boat, look from a distance, cry. "My husband is there. I know it. I can feel it." For 40 years she went every year. She died in 1993, 88 years old. Her last words, "Find William, please. He's still waiting." In 2019, William was found, and the others, behind the light room, in a hidden chamber. They'd been waiting for 66 years. Margaret was right. Her husband was there, still waiting. Before you continue watching, hit that subscribe button, because this story isn't just about a disappearance. This is about a wife's 40-year faith and about the power of lighthouses. This is the story of Skellig's curse. Skellig's Lighthouse was built in 1887 on Scotland's northern coast, on a rocky island, isolated, dangerous. The nearest land was 15 kilometers away. But it mattered, for ships. The light saved them, kept them away from the rocks. Locals had always found that island strange. Skellig was a holy place, they would say. Old Scottish monks lived there, prayed to God. But in the 1800s, a lighthouse was built. The monks left, but the legends remained. At night, spirits walk. The light calls them. Lighthouse keepers hear voices. Nonsense. But some keepers believed. In 1920, a keeper went mad. "There are voices inside the walls," he screamed. He was taken back. Never worked again. In 1935, another keeper disappeared. He was on night watch. Morning came, he wasn't found. There were no traces. He fell into the sea, they said. But how? The doors were locked from inside. But most keepers had no problems. The work was just difficult. Lonely. Sea, wind, and light. November 1953. 3 new keepers were preparing for duty. William MacLeod was 48 years old, head keeper. He'd been a lighthouse keeper for 20 years, had worked at different lighthouses, Aberdeen, Orkney, now Skellig. He was married to Margaret for 25 years. They had no children, couldn't have them, but they were happy. William loved Margaret very much. 6 weeks is a long time, Margaret said. Be careful. I'm always careful. Been doing this for 20 years. I know, but Skellig is different. People say things. Superstition, Margaret. It's just a lighthouse. Still, be careful. Radio every day. I promise. James Fraser was 35 years old, assistant keeper. Been doing this for 8 years. Was married to Ellen. They had 2 children. Mary, 7 years old. John, 5 years old. Dad, when are you coming back? Mary asked. In 6 weeks, sweetheart. That's so long. I know, but when I come back, I'll bring you a present. What present? It's a surprise. Ellen kissed James at the door. Be careful, storm season is starting. Don't worry, William is experienced. I'm in good hands. Thomas Muir was 29 years old, youngest keeper, First year. He was excited but scared too. Not married, lived alone, had no family, lost his mother at 10, his father at 18. He was alone. Lighthouse keeping was suitable for lonely people. November 5, 1953, Thursday. The boat picked them up at the dock. Captain Robertson operated the boat. He'd been transporting lighthouse keepers for 20 years. "Calm today," the captain said, "but forecast is changing. Storm might come this weekend." "We're ready," William said. "I've seen many storms." The boat approached the island. It was rocky, steep, dangerous. There was a small dock, barely possible to land. The 3 keepers disembarked, with their belongings, food, clothes, personal items, for 6 weeks. "Radio in. If there's an emergency, let us know." "Understood, Captain. See you in 6 weeks." The boat moved away. The 3 keepers walked toward the lighthouse. Stone stairs. 127 steps. Exhausting. The lighthouse was 40 meters high. White stone. Red roof. Classic. Light room at the top. Living quarters below. Kitchen. Bedrooms. Storage. William opened the door. Inside was cold, damp, smell of the sea, but clean. The previous watch had left it well. "All right, men," William said. "Put your things away. Then we start work. Thomas, you'll learn the routine." First day was routine. William showed everything. Turning the light on, off, maintenance, cleaning, radio, daily logs. "Light is turned on 30 minutes before sunset," William said. "Turned off 30 minutes after sunrise. Checked every 4 hours. Night watches are rotational." First week was calm. Routine. Same every day. They lit the light, turned it off, cooked meals, read books. James thought about his family, Mary and John, Ellen. He missed them. Every evening he wrote letters. Couldn't mail them tomorrow, but he wrote. Would give them in 6 weeks. Thomas tried to adjust to the loneliness. Felt strange. First time so isolated. But William and James were good, helped him. William loved the lighthouse, loved the light. Powerful, bright, visible for 30 kilometers. At night he'd watch, the rotating light, hypnotic. Tuesday evening, November 10, weather forecast came on the radio. Low pressure in North Atlantic. Storm expected Friday night. Wind 100 kilometers per hour. Waves 25-30 meters. "Big storm," William said. "We must be prepared." Wednesday, November 11th, they made preparations. Closed windows, secured supplies, checked generator, everything ready. Thursday, November 12, afternoon, weather changed. Wind started, clouds darkened, sea swelled. 6 p.m., they lit the light, as always, but wind was stronger. 8 p.m., storm began, wind howled, waves crashed against rocks. Lighthouse swayed, slightly, but it was felt. "Normal," William said. "Lighthouse is solid. It'll hold." 9 p.m., storm worsened. Rain started, heavy, falling horizontally. Windows rattled. Thomas was scared. "Is this normal?" "Yes," James said. "You'll get used to it. First storm is the worst." 10 p.m. Waves were very high, 25 meters, maybe 30, coming up to half the lighthouse. Salt water hitting windows. William went up to the light room, checked. Light was on, normal. Rotating lens, bright white beam. 10:30 p.m. Something changed. William felt it. Light flickered, for a moment, very brief, then returned to normal. Strange, he thought. Looked at the control panel. Everything normal. Voltage, bulb, rotation mechanism. 11 p.m. Light flickered again, this time longer, 2 seconds, then flared, very bright, then returned to normal. "James, come up!" William shouted. James ran, climbed to the light room. What happened? Light flickered twice and got very bright. Could be electrical issue. Let me check. James opened the panel, looked at wires, connections secure, fuse good. Everything looks normal. Then it happened. Light flared again, this time much brighter. Room went white. William and James closed their eyes. "What's happening?" James shouted. William pressed the button. Off button. Didn't work. Light stayed on. "It won't turn off," William said. "Try the manual lock." James turned the manual lock. Didn't work. Light kept burning. "Shut down the generator," William said. "But we'll be in the dark." "Do it now." Thomas was downstairs. James shouted on the radio, "Thomas, shut down the generator." Thomas ran to the generator room, turned the switch. Generator stopped. Sound ceased. But the light didn't go off. Still burning, bright, strong. "This is impossible," James said. "No electricity, but light is on." William wasn't panicking, but was shocked. In 20 years, he'd never seen anything like this. "Radio, report to Coast Guard." James ran to the radio, adjusted frequency. "Coast Guard, this is Skellig Lighthouse. Emergency, do you copy?" Static. Then answer. "This is Coast Guard. Skellig, we copy. What's your situation?" "Malfunction at Lighthouse. Cannot turn off the light. We cut power, but light is still on. Can't control it." Long silence. "Repeat, Skellig. Power is cut?" "Yes, we shut down generator, but light is still burning." "Understood, Skellig. We'll come after the storm passes." "Probably tomorrow afternoon. Stay safe until then." "Understood. Skellig out." William, James, and Thomas went up to the light room, all three together, looked at the light. It was burning, bright, rotating lens, seemed normal, but there was no electricity. Generator was off. How was it burning? "Maybe battery," Thomas said. "Battery runs for 2 hours. This is stronger," William said. They approached the light, looked at the bulb. Bright white, hot, but strange. The light pulsed, slightly, like a heartbeat. "Don't touch," William said. "It'll be hot." But James reached out to test the glass. His fingers touched and he felt a shock. Not electricity, something else. Cold, but burning. Strange feeling. He pulled his hand back. "What happened?" William said. "I don't know. Felt strange." And then the light flared again. This time brightest. Room completely white. Nothing visible. Only white. William, James, and Thomas closed their eyes, covered faces with hands. But light was too strong. Passed through eyelids. "Get out now!" William shouted. But they couldn't. Bodies wouldn't move. Muscles froze. They stayed standing, like that. Motionless. The light wrapped around them, absorbed them, pulled them inside, and time stopped. For them. Next morning, November 13, storm subsided. Sea was calm. Sky was clear. Coast Guard boat arrived. Captain Robertson and 3 officers. Approached the island. "Light is still on," the captain said. "Why is it on during the day?" They docked, disembarked, went to the lighthouse, knocked on the door. No answer. Entered. "William, James, Thomas." Silence. Looked at living quarters. Empty. Beds made. Kitchen clean. Everything normal, but nobody there. Went up to the light room. Empty. Only the light burning. Bright. Rotating. Never stopping. Checked generator room. Off. How was the light burning? Searched everywhere. Storage, outside, rocks, no trace. 3 keepers missing. Coast Guard reported. 3 keepers missing at Skellig Lighthouse. William MacLeod, James Fraser, Thomas Muir. No traces. Probably fell into sea during storm. Families were notified. When Margaret MacLeod heard the news, she collapsed. "No, William!" Police came. "We're sorry, Mrs. MacLeod. Your husband is missing, probably during the storm." "No," Margaret said. "William is careful, experienced, wouldn't fall into the sea." Storm was very severe. "Still, he's there, somewhere, waiting." Ellen Fraser couldn't tell her 2 children. "Your father is working. He'll stay a bit longer." But she knew. James wouldn't return. Search lasted 2 weeks. Divers searched the rocks, found nothing. No bodies, no traces. Case closed. Sorry, they fell into the sea. Bodies not found. Margaret didn't accept it. Never did. Summer 1954, Margaret rented a boat, went to Skellig, looked from a distance. Light was on. During the day. Why? "My husband is there," she told the fisherman. "I know it. I can feel it." "Ma'am, lighthouse is empty. Nobody there. It's automated now." "No, William is there." She went every year. 1955, 1956, 1960, 1970, 1980, 40 years, every year. As she aged, walking became difficult, but she still went. "Why do you go, Mother?" her neighbor asked. "To see William." "But he is there. I know it." April 1993. Margaret was ill. Cancer. 88 years old. In hospital. Final days. Her neighbor came to visit. "Do you want anything, Margaret?" "Find William," she whispered. "Please, he's still waiting." "Where?" "Skellig, inside the light. He was always there." That night, Margaret died. Last breath. Last thought. William. March 2019. Scottish government decided on restoration. Skellig Lighthouse will be modernized. LED system. Automatic. Technicians came. Landed on island. Entered lighthouse. "Light is still on," the technician said. "For 66 years. How is that possible?" "Old systems were durable," said the other. They went up to the light room, examined. Control panel old, from the 1950s, but working, never stopped. "Where's the electricity coming from?" "Don't know. No generator, no battery, no solar panel, just light." They examined the walls, old panels, wood, rotted. Looked behind and found a small door, hidden behind the panels, unlocked. "What's this?" They opened it. Narrow corridor, dark. Took flashlights. And saw 3 men standing, hands up, as if reaching for something. Eyes open, fixed, looking up. "My God!" The technician stepped back. Ambulance was called. Doctors came. Checked. Pulse. Very slow. 1 beat per minute. Breathing. Very slow. Body temperature. 10 degrees. But they were alive. How is this possible? 66 years? They moved them carefully. To hospital. Slowly warmed. 15 degrees. 20. 25. 30. William moved first. Fingers. Then arm. Then head. Eyes blinked. "Margaret?" he whispered. "Where's Margaret?" Doctor leaned down. "Sir, stay calm. You're safe." "Margaret? My wife? Waiting for me?" "Sir, when did you come to Skellig?" "November 5, 1953. 6-week watch." Doctor froze. 1953?
Yes, there was a storm. Light wouldn't turn off. Sir, it's 2019. 66 years have passed. William's world spun. No, just 1 week. Margaret's name was mentioned. Research was done. She died in 1993, 26 years ago. When they told William, he collapsed. No, Margaret, waiting, came every year. She knew I was there. Hospital records were found. Margaret's last words. Find William at Skellig, inside the light. William cried. 66 years! Margaret waited 40 years, came every year. She knew, always knew, and finally she was proven right. James thawed, asked about Ellen. She was 82 years old, nursing home, dementia, didn't recognize James. Mary was 73. John was 71. 2 children still alive, but now they were old. Dad, Mary said, this isn't possible. Mary, you're grown. 66 years passed, Dad. 66 years we waited. Thomas had no family, nobody. He was alone in 1953, still alone in 2019. The light finally went off. May 2019. Technicians removed it. Old system, installed LED, modern. But sometimes at night, some swear they see the old light, bright, white, rotating, as if still burning. And sometimes, if you listen carefully, in the wind, you hear a voice, a whisper. Margaret, are you waiting? Skellig's curse. Maybe it was real, maybe it wasn't. But for William, James, and Thomas, it was real. They were frozen inside the light for 66 years. And Margaret, she waited 40 years, never gave up, because she knew her husband was there, inside the light, and she was right until the end.